I didn't get a haircut for almost a year. I was in there and there were no combs, there were no brushes, there were no mirrors to even see how you look. All you could do was look at somebody else and be like, damn, he ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you couldn't look in the mirror and be like, damn, I'm pretty ugly too. Every maybe 3 weeks, officers would come, they would bring clippers. Everybody would get in line and somebody would just cut everybody's hair. Give everybody a bald head, cut everything off. Next man, it was just run through like that. And that's how everybody got their hair cut. And it was the same, they were using the same clippers for everybody.
Wendell didn't get a haircut for months. He finally got in that line when the Chinese authorities told him he'd be going to trial.
Oh, it was just getting ready for my first trial. First time going to court. So I'll just get a haircut, try to look halfway presentable, have my best house shoes and my best sweatpants on. My Sunday best.
Wendell got the cut and went to trial in July of 2017. The trial ended without a verdict. A year later, we're still waiting for one. Back at home, Team Wendell is making another push to bring him home. We released a new video in the summer of 2019. 7,000 miles away, Wendell is just trying to survive. I'm Matt Liston. This is Game Plan, the Wendell Brown story.
I don't trust him. I'm not listening to nothing he says. I'm not listening to nothing he says. Because if I tell them all of these things that's going on, it's only going to make it worse for me when they leave. I'm almost 2 years in now. I'm sitting here every day wondering when I'm going to get out. Like, okay, I got your pity, or get me out of here.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that, let's put it online and see what happens stage.
And the site is live.
That we opened a store and need a fast checkout stage.
Thanks, you're all set.
That count it up and ship it around the globe stage.
This one's going to Thailand.
And that, wait, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/sell today.
Seeking the truth never gets old, even when it hides in the shadows. Immerse yourself in the world of June's Journey, a free-to-play hidden object game set in the roaring 20s. Solve the mystery of the devious gossip spreader and celebrate our 7th anniversary with exclusive events, never-before-seen decorations, thrilling mysteries, and exciting giveaways. The adventure and the gossip awaits. Are you ready for the journey? Download June's Journey today for free on Android or iOS.
You won't hear much more from me in this episode. Instead, you'll hear the things that I wasn't yet hearing, because in everything Wendell is about to describe, we had very little contact. He wrote letters, but those letters didn't reveal much, if anything, of his day-to-day. That's enough for me. Let's get back to Wendell.
In China, if someone has more money than someone else, they respect them for the simple fact that they have more money. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do anything. You can be a terrible person, but if you have more money than me, you are supposed to receive all my respect, and I'm supposed to just do anything you say. A few months in, one of the guys in the room complained about me many times, said he didn't like me. This was a guy who I guess was important within the jail, because he was able to talk to the officers and stuff like that. And one thing that they do is they'll call him boss, Laban, that means boss in Chinese. So everyone called this guy boss. I found out that he was able to get his contact information, was able to get my lawyer's contact information for him to come see him. And he came and spoke to him about my case and everything like that. And the guy was in the cell bragging about giving my lawyer more money to come see him and talk to me, tell him about me, then I gave him to take my case. But my lawyer, I didn't trust him. I knew he wasn't working for me. You know, like as I'm hearing and I'm understanding more and more Chinese, and I'm listening to what's going on around me, and just to look at his eyes, I didn't trust this guy.
Yeah.
I didn't trust him. He wasn't working. He wasn't working for me. I could tell that he wasn't doing anything to help me. Him and his translator were yelling at me, telling me this is my fault, that I'm never going home. I need to plead guilty. But I asked him, does self-defense exist? And when they told me, yeah, I'm like, okay. And I don't need to plead guilty. Like, if self-defense is written in the law, I shouldn't be pleading guilty. But as time went on, it was getting more and more into it was huge, harping on me pleading guilty, me saying that I'm guilty. And then they told me that they had video of the incident. I'm like, okay, that's perfect. Like, so you know everything that I'm telling you. You know, if you've seen the video. And I'm telling them, like, no, I'm not pleading guilty. I've done nothing wrong. And they're yelling at me. His translator, she's yelling at me. She's like, you have to plead guilty. This is your fault. You hurt him. You're never going to go home. You're going to spend all your time in here.
Can you imagine? Your family hires a lawyer with their life savings and with help from the community, and all your lawyer does is yell at you and insist you plead guilty. I mean, what do you do? If this was the United States, you would just get a new lawyer. But this is China, and Wendell has no options at this moment. Now, I'll remind you that this is not Sophia, his future lawyer. As we listen to Wendell at this very moment, he is stuck with a lawyer who does not have his best interest in mind.
A lawyer informed me that he had went with the other lawyer and one of the men who attacked me to have the exam performed. He was there. It's not looking good. His eye is gone. This is bad. You may not ever go home. You have to pay this guy or you're never going to get home. You have to plead guilty or you're never going to go home. All these different things. He told me for months, I'm guilty. This man's eye has fallen out. I'm like, I'm strong. But knock somebody's eye out movie strong, I'm not sure if I got enough strength to push somebody and their eye fall out their head. They already didn't have an eye. There's no way you can make me feel like I knocked somebody's eye out. This guy never had an eye. If he doesn't have one now, he didn't walk in there with one. You know, and it was one point where I just start to cry while I'm in there because I'm just thinking like, wow, man, this is my representation. This is the people who's supposed to speak for me and supposed to defend my cause and to help free me. And they're speaking to me like this, cussing me out. Just it was bad, you know. And I asked, and there was one point where I'm just like, wow, how did this happen? I sent them a message through the embassy to my mom, like, and just told her, like, I don't trust my lawyer. I don't trust him.
Wendell knew there wasn't much evidence against him. He actually wanted the jury to see the surveillance footage, believing it would free him. I had seen the footage, and I know in a United States courtroom it would be played many times, at many different speeds. They would zoom in, they would zoom out, and it would help Wendell. The eye injury is very serious, but there's no proof it was caused by Wendell's actions. Meanwhile, the trial date was right around the corner, and Wendell was running out of options.
He was having my mother and them write letters telling me that I need to plead guilty is the best way for me to get home. I need to plead guilty. And I was just stuck on, I'm not going. I'm not pleading guilty. I've done nothing wrong. You've already told me that you have the video. You've already told me that self-defense exists. Why should I be pleading guilty? What am I guilty of? Like, I've done nothing wrong. Like, I don't know the Chinese law, but I know simple English. Like, I know simple mathematics. Like, this is simple. Self-defense exists. You have video of multiple men attacking me with weapons. Why should I be pleading guilty? Why am I here locked up and these men aren't? he just kept trying to get my family to persuade me to plead guilty, and I wouldn't, and I wouldn't. And I told my family, like, I don't trust him. I'm not listening to nothing he says. I shouldn't be forced to plead guilty. This is not it. If I got him, it's gonna be bad for me. I was telling my family, like, he's a snake. I sent this word to my mom, like, yo, this guy's a bigger rat than Master Splinter. I can't listen to anything this guy says. And I was just telling them, like, I'm not pleading guilty. And they kept trying to get my mother just to convince me to plead guilty. I was really just hung up on, like, having someone to defend me the way I felt I should be defended, to speak for me, because I couldn't speak for myself. I needed somebody to speak for me. So in order for them to speak for me, they had to believe in what I was saying and to be able to get my point across, because I couldn't do it for myself.
Throughout this time, Wendell really didn't have anywhere to turn. He couldn't trust his lawyers. He couldn't be completely honest in his letters home because those were being translated and read by Chinese authorities. He couldn't make phone calls. He really only had one outlet: representatives from the U.S. Embassy that came to visit him in prison. That's after the break.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that, let's put it online and see what happens stage.
And the site is live.
That we opened a store and need a fast checkout stage.
Thanks. You're all set.
That count it up and ship it around the globe stage.
This one's going to Thailand.
And that, wait, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/sell today.
It wasn't until maybe I'm like 2 or 3 months in that the embassy even informed me that, okay, we're going to be here next month around this time. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you guys will be coming every month. The fact that they came and gave me messages from my family, asked me about how I was feeling, what was going on. I'm not sure about exactly everything they were doing on the outside to help my situation, but I knew as far as me being on the inside, my impression of them was that they actually were helping me. The fact that they are sending these letters back and forth, and they didn't have to do that. They're trying to help my situation not just come to a close as quickly as possible, but to do everything while it's in the midst to make it a bit easier. Because they were always asking me how I'm doing. Is anything, am I safe in there? What's going on? Ask me about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They're asking me every month when they come see me what's going on. So I really couldn't tell them everything's going on. I can't tell them people are making threats on my life every day. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell them that anytime something can go on. Like I can't tell them that, people are able to get my lawyer's contact information to call them. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell them that, because if I tell them all these things that's going on, it's only going to make it worse for me when they leave. They only come here 15 minutes. Like, it's only so much that they can actually do, even from being out there and maneuvering, trying to help me with my case, and to me being in here. All they could do was the letters, like just how China operates as well, as far as being the dictatorship, a communist country. And how there's no way you can go against anything the government says or does, as an individual within this nation. So another country opposing them in their country, that's not going to sit well on any level of the government. Fucking CJ Ping and Donald Trump, just everything, the relationships of the country.
When the embassy came to visit, it was never just U.S. officials. The judge in Wendell's case always came with them. This isn't part of standard operating procedure, according to a few people I talked to who are familiar with the Chinese legal system. Even Sophia says it's bizarre. So this part didn't make a lot of sense to me, but when I heard it, it made me think that Wendell had a chance of getting out. Like, why else would the judge in a case be visiting the accused?
I heard that it was like her first case, like she was fairly new. Like, I thought that was a part of the process. Ever coming with the embassy, she was a part of the translation process with my letters that I was sending out and that I was receiving. Like, they translated the letters first with them. It was her and 2 other people. They all translated the letters, and then once they gave them to the prison, they all translated them as well. I felt like she knew I was innocent, and like that's the reason why it was taking so long. I remember her telling me just like to, to stay strong and don't let anything take my spirit away. Like, okay, I got your pity, or like, get me out of here.
We also heard that Wendell's judge was new to the criminal court and that this was one of her first cases. If this was true and she did believe Wendell was innocent, you'd have to imagine it would not be easy for her to give a not guilty verdict, especially this early in her career given the 99% conviction rate. Now at this point, we were as helpless as Wendell, and all we could do was hope that she thought Wendell was innocent, and eventually she'd find a way to free him.
I'm sitting here every day wondering when I'm going to get out. Like, I'm almost 2 years in now. Still with no verdict, and I'm just sitting here. And why else would I still be in here with no verdict? Unless they were trying to stall me out. I tried to write a letter and send it through the embassy how I sent all my other letters. It got tore up in my face, bro. Any letter where I truly expressed myself, where I truly said what was going on and what I seen, was not getting through. The translation process, it was sent through 4 people before it got to the representatives of the United States Embassy. If I had mentioned China, if I had mentioned court, case, guilt, innocence, freedom, any of those words, inmates, anything, it wasn't going through. Like, I even remember getting a book, and because they talked about it, they said something about China in the book, they wouldn't let me get the book, even though it was like a business runner book. I couldn't get those type of letters through. The one time I tried, it was tore up in my face. Because like I said, I was also keeping myself sane, but keeping my family sane from everything. But I still wanted to let them know what this was, what I was going through. But they never got a chance to hear exactly everything from my words. They didn't know.
To get around this, sometimes Wendell would use pop culture references, in one instance using the term deboed to describe an inmate being bullied, referencing the movie Friday, in which Debo is the ultimate bully. Or like he mentioned earlier, Master Splinter, from the cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where he was a rat. Most of the time, though, Wendell was focused on just sending positivity and strength.
I wanted to make sure I was able to send them love and send them positivity through my words. But they didn't know the things I was thinking about, and I'm sure it was things that I said in there that they were like, wow, I didn't really think about it like that. Because it was things I'm going through, like, they're not trying to do me any favors. They're not trying to help me by saying, oh, if you plead guilty, we'll do this. That's how is that a favor? They're not trying to show me any love, any favor. If they wanted to, they would have done it a long time ago. So finally, I got another lawyer. The family, like, God blessed me with another lawyer, a lawyer that saw everything that I was telling her. And man, just hearing her say, I agree with you. Hearing her say, I'm gonna defend you as innocent by self-defense, and just to hear somebody after all those people who, from the police officers to the first 2 lawyers, And the translator, just to hear somebody who actually agreed with what I was saying, like it was just a weight lifted off of me. Like I had hope. And I had hope again. It was maybe 9 months in. It was 9 months in. I was still waiting on a court date. I've been praying for a new lawyer, asking my family, or telling my family that I didn't trust the lawyer that I had in place for me already. And I had a dream where I was told to tell someone. I was introduced to a lady, and she had on a red dress, and it was like, I can tell her everything. My first time meeting Sophia, she spoke English, so that was beautiful. When she got there, she didn't have a translator with her. I told Sophia how I felt. I told Sophia that I was innocent. I wanted to be defended. I want to be like represented and defended as an innocent man being attacked under self-defense. I told her that, people trying to get me to plead guilty and saying I'm wrong. I've done nothing wrong. And she said, okay. She had told me that she tried to come visit me earlier in the week, but had been denied twice. That was new to me. I didn't know that, she had come to try to see me and they wouldn't allow her to see me. No one informed me that someone tried to come see me or anything. She told me that, my family and my friends, they found her. They wanted to make sure I was okay, were thinking of me and sending me well wishes. She told me she saw the notes. She saw everything. So just walk her through what happened. Once I finished telling her everything, she basically said that she agrees with me. And that's the same thing that she saw. Sophia told me there were no medical records inside the file. So where the lawyer was telling me that they had saw the medical records, the guy had lost the eye, all this stuff, they were making stuff up. So they were just saying this, and I'm like, oh, they're really trying to get me. They're really trying to get that. Like, if that was the case, that would be the first thing that was in the file, was the medical records. If this guy had no eye from this incident, they'd have put a copy of that medical record in there 7 times. Like, just in her short period of time where she had went to the location and shot video of how far I was pushed down the stairs and the areas and witness testimony and where the witnesses were who said they saw everything, and I found out so much. She was the first one that actually felt like, okay, that's the same thing I saw. That's how I'm going to defend you. I didn't have that before. And when I heard that gave me a boost of life. She only had a month to prepare, 3 weeks to a month to prepare for my court case. She had so little time to prepare. The energy she displayed felt like I had the chance, felt like I was going to win. I knew the truth would set me free. I knew knowing the truth was all I needed. Like, I felt every bit of hope because I knew I had done nothing wrong. I knew my chances of winning were high.
As Wendell started to trust Sophia and started to feel a sliver of hope, we were busy doing everything we could to bring attention to his case. After the break, we're back in the States.
Seeking the truth never gets old, even when it hides in the shadows. Immerse yourself in the world of June's Journey, a free-to-play hidden object game set in the roaring 20s. Solve the mystery of the devious gossip spreader and celebrate our 7th anniversary with exclusive events, never-before-seen decorations, thrilling mysteries, and exciting giveaways. The adventure and the gossip awaits. Are you ready for the journey? Download June's Journey today for free on Android or iOS.
We released the campaign video in April of 2018, and just as Dan Wetzel suggested, I called a few NBA players. Some even said they'd help, but there was always more to it. As one agent told me, they had Nikes to sell in China. I reached out to some of my contacts at ESPN and other media outlets. I couldn't get anyone on board. It was kind of strange, actually. Then Dan Wetzel tweeted out my campaign video to his 280,000 followers. And that got the attention of Barstool Sports. Barstool is a guy who basically travels the world doing crazy things. He calls himself Donnie Does, and he's quite entertaining. He saw the story and said, "Do you mind if I post it?" Now, it's not the New York Times or ESPN, but in this day and age, it might be better. And a few days later...
Hello, how are you? I was surprised to get your message.
The trial judge, she's not very, she didn't confirm the exact date when we can get the verdict, but he can tell the verdict is coming very soon.
Sophia called to say we were finally close to getting the long-awaited verdict. Did the attention on the video make the difference? I have no idea, and I don't really care.
From the trial judge's attitude before, she had, if there is no any opportunity, she won't give us any sign. So that's if she gives some information, that means something will happen.
In the Chinese court of law, every 3 months a trial verdict could either be delivered or postponed. Until this point, Wendell's verdict was always postponed. 2 years of delays, and the next deadline was around the corner. By some miracle, it looked like they were finally going to release a verdict.
Do you think there's a chance they come back with a not guilty verdict?
The chance probably very, very low, that's what I can say. I mean, that should have that chance because I discussed this opinion with the judge. I said, how about we do this? Change the charge to negligent injury. It's not intentional. And if they change the charge to negligent injury, yeah, that's definitely it's exactly they will have the chance as what you said. I hope that the court can think about it, be reasonable to Wendell, even if they will, say he's guilty, but at least make the penalty reasonable. There's something they can do.
Sophia was reiterating what John Kim, the businessman and activist trying to help Wendell, mentioned to me on our call. With a 99% conviction rate, it was unlikely the courts in China would give Wendell a not guilty verdict.
If the charge isn't changed, what do you think is the realistic penalty that we could be facing at that point?
I can give you two answers. If they do it unreasonable, they will probably exceed 5 years. If they do it reasonable, depends on the lot of problem in this case. I mean, evidence and also, from human beings wise, should be lower than 5 years, from 3 to 5, or even just 3 to 4. So if they do this way, Wendell can be home very soon because he already stayed in jail over than 2 years.
Sophia was explaining that if the court was acting reasonably, even with a guilty verdict, there was still a chance Wendell could go home with time served.
How are you personally feeling about things today?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, I'm excited at least we will have the verdict soon. That's a good thing. We can keep moving, but for the verdict, what will happen? I do have no any feeling. I don't have wish. I wish it's innocent, and then if it's guilty, and then just 3 years, and then he can come home soon.
How do you feel, and how should the team feel right now that a verdict could be happening? That's good news, correct?
For the timing wise, definitely it's good news. But I guess everyone's it's nervous about the consequence because nobody can really tell what will happen, you know.
Wow. I'm not sure how to feel. Like, I'm relieved that he's going to be most likely getting a verdict, but at the same time, I'm like really nervous at what that verdict might be.
Definitely, I guess everyone has the same feeling, yes.
We ultimately did get word that Wendell's verdict date was set. And one good thing led to another. Donnie Does posted our campaign video on Twitter, and suddenly my inbox was flooded. I finally heard back from ESPN, and even the Today Show was interested in telling Wendell's story. They wanted to interview me, and I wasn't sure about that, because this wasn't like my past wish fulfillment campaigns. The stakes were much higher, and I absolutely did not want to be presented as some white savior guy. At the same time, I've been in sports media for a while, and on camera in most of my films. I've been on ESPN numerous times, and there was potential value in me being, the one on camera. So I had a long conversation with Antoinette and some other members of the team about whether I should go on camera representing the family. They all said yes, please go on camera and represent the family. So with their blessing, I told ESPN I would do it.
Today in the B Block, American athletes and Chinese justice.
On June 25th, 2018, we got an entire segment on the ESPN show Outside the Lines. It's basically the biggest investigative sports show on TV. They opened the segment with a quick comparison to the UCLA case.
Now, by contrast, the case of Wendell Brown is very different. Virtually no one knows of this former Ball State and CFL football player. He was arrested in a bar fight in Chongqing 20 months ago. Brown has been in jail ever since, still awaiting a verdict from his trial, which was last year. Filmmaker and documentarian Matt Liston has taken up the cause and the case of his fellow Ball State alum. Matt, it's good to have you here.
Hi, thanks, Bob.
You have been corresponding with him as these cases, some would say languished, or others would say progressed through the Chinese system. What does he reveal to you about his character and his attitude about this?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're allowed to exchange letters with him through the U.S. consulate once a month. And one thing that is very clear is his spiritual strength through this. He misses his family, he loves his family and friends, and he wants to be home. But at the same time, he has such great spiritual strength through this. And I want to add that he also has a sense of humor, and it comes through despite what he's going through right now. And both the White House and the State Department have stepped up, and they're working tirelessly to bring Wendell Brown home.
I was trying to find a balancing act. I knew I couldn't say how I actually felt, that the government wasn't doing enough, at least as far as we knew. But maybe there was things happening behind closed doors. If so, no one informed Team Wendell, so I towed the line. I try to have an optimistic tone. I hope that the national attention would help put pressure on not just China, but on the U.S. Embassy, and the segment got a lot of attention, the kind of attention we'd hoped for. Would it do anything for Wendell? I had no idea. All I could do was keep the faith. A few days later, I headed to Detroit to be with Wendell's family to hear the verdict. 7,000 miles across the world, Wendell was anxiously doing the same. Would he finally be going home, or spending even more years in a Chinese prison? Game Plan is hosted by Matt Liston, executive producer Anjay Nagpal and Matt Liston, story editor and senior producer Danielle Elliott, producer Nicole Cohn, editing, sound design, music by Gerard Bauer and Sam Bauer, associate producer Kinsey Clark, show art by Sarah Eichenberger, marketing by Brandon Getchus, production legal by Bruns, Brennan, and Barry, legal clearance fair use by Rachel Strom and Davis Wright Tremaine. Special thanks to Ball State University, Scott Cronick, Jason Whitlock, and the City of Detroit. From Entropy Media, executive producers Anjay Nagpal, Gerard Bauer, and Josh Fuelestead. Head of operations is Nunya Ebo. Associate producer, Heidi Rudvots. Development production support, Simona Kessler. Please consider making a donation to Brown Elite Youth Elevation Foundation. In Memoriam, Irma Brown, Raymond Brown, and Annie Murrell.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that, let's put it online and see what happens stage.
And the site is live.
That we opened a store and need a fast checkout stage.
Thanks. You're all set.
That count it up and ship it around the globe stage.
This one's going to Thailand.
And that, wait, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/sell today.